With Marvel Rivals' first season just a day away, a bunch of balance changes have been released which might shake up the metagame a lot. So what can we expect going into this? Captain America up first, and this character is actually kind of just there to be annoying. If a Wasp was a hero, it would be Captain America. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but can put sustained pressure on the backline and cause splits in the team's attention. It is all buffs here though. Lower cooldown on shields and Liberty Rush, and more base HP. Oh, also faster ult charge. Will this character get more usage from this? I do personally kind of doubt it. The reason being is there's been very few Captain America players I've personally seen, and even less who effectively play them. For reference, I'm currently hovering between GM 3 and 2, so not going to pretend I'm like the best player ever, but I have played a fair bit, and haven't seen much America at all in these ranks, and the data does back this up, being the lowest picked tank at 2.27% in GM+. So most people will need to learn this hero first before they play it. Now, from the least to most used Vanguard, it's no real surprise Strange is getting a nerf, but thankfully this one seems minimal. The release Darkness hit will start to get damage fall off, while recovery rate on the shield reduced slightly, and I can see Strange still being great into Season 1. It's the most typical anchor tank we currently have, and 5 meters before fall off is quite generous. Honestly, I'm surprised Maelstrom and Madness even reaches beyond that point. Shield recovery is also fine. Might have to play a little smarter with a shield, but use it to block key abilities rather than just holding it up whenever possible, and you will be completely fine. 4. Not a lot of change. 25 base health increase, and immunity frames when activating super. And the second part might actually sometimes come in clutch. You know that you can freeze or sleep for as they activate their ult, and it will not only cancel it but also remove all their ult charge, which is kinda silly. Hulk is getting a reduction on bubble health, making his survivability a little bit less. But I do believe Hulk does remain a seasonal buffed hero, so will still have a huge health pool, which I think their current health increase is what's making them much more viable than what you would expect at base. However, people are still going to play Hulk for the strong Gamma team up with Iron Man and Strange. Venom might need a little bit of help to be honest, and thankfully that's what's happened. Increased shield health gain on lower HP by 20%, and a small bump to his ultimate, now dealing half a hero's current health plus 50, rather than plus 40. Is this going to be enough? Probably not, but we'll have to see. Now for everyone's favourite insta-lock heroes, the Duelists. Black Panther is getting a survivability hit with less bonus health gained per attack, and a lower limit of max health bonus from 120 to 75. This is actually quite a big hit here, as you can really build up this health quite fast when comboing attacks. But am I glad to see this? Absolutely. A good Panther player can really dictate a match by themselves, especially if the communication between the backline and the rest of the team isn't great. Which, let's be honest, in most ladder matches this will be the case. This reduction will make Panther much more manageable if a team is ready for them to dive in. Black Widow, look, I haven't played this or really ever seen this hero played, so the fact that it's all buffs does not really come as a surprise. It looks like she'll be able to sprint much more often and charge up her ult faster too. It's all good stuff, but a sniper hero which is unable to one-shot will probably not bring in much play. Oh, and I also don't want it to one-shot by the way, that would be horrible. And Hawkeye, oh god, Hawkeye. Yeah, the nerf here should probably just be to like delete this character from the game, to be honest, at this point. It's insane. Or just tone down the hitbox size quite a bit. But anyway, the changes we got are still quite good. The passive additional damage from Arcus Focus is reduced from 80 to 70, which means the maximum damage per shot is now 230. But also another change I'll go over later is that Hawkeye's seasonal damage bonus is also going down. Essentially what this means is they will no longer be able to one-shot 275 health heroes. Also, another thing is the distance his passive can actually start to activate is now capped at 40 meters rather than 60. So if you are one of those 250 health heroes, you shouldn't be getting one-tapped from Narnia quite as often, hopefully. The spread on blast arrows is also getting reduced, but I don't even know if anyone even knows these exist. Hela will hopefully be brought down in potential with a reduction on her current 20% seasonal buff too. But also her health is being reduced from 275 to 250. Hela is the most picked hero in Diamond and below, and for very good reason. And the only reason she isn't the most picked in GM Plus is because she's always banned. Here's hoping next season she isn't a mandatory ban every game, just so we get a bit more variety. Magic in ult is quite similar to magic outside of ult. So the patch here is to increase her Umbral Incursion damage in ult from 115 to 135. Might make her a bit more threatening, as 2 hits of this is enough to take out 2 50 health characters. But I can still see Magic being a kind of middle of the road hero in terms of viability, as she is now. Moon Knight is another hero who's seen a buff to their ult, with these projectiles available within the ult's duration going from 10 to 14, and the explosion radius of these going from 4 to 5 meters. I think Moon Knight is actually quite a balanced hero and is really good against some things, while not against others. Like if you got a Loki on the other team, fantastic. But their ult is probably the weakest part of their kit, so this is actually quite a nice change to see. Namor I feel has grown in popularity over time with pretty good reason. It has high damage and the ability to passively pressure dive characters with these little silly squid things they can spawn. And these spawns will now be easier to use with a more accurate throw to a desired location. It seems like someone like Namor should have a pretty strong throwing arm, so this one just makes sense. And it will just help you get these spawns into much sneakier locations so that they can do much more. So Psylocke is the most picked duelist in GM and above, and a large part of this is no doubt the ult. So no surprises this part getting hit with a nerf, and I'd say this is actually quite a big one. How this ult works is any hero within its radius will be hit with 150 damage attack periodically. So if you want nobody to die, weirdly enough the best thing to do is actually group up inside the ult, as it will target heroes which have not been attacked yet first. But anyway, the change is bubbled heroes such as Magneto and Hulk will now be targetable. So these can jump into the ult and effectively block more of its damage. Psylocke will still no doubt be great though, because not only is this ult still pretty good, but so is the rest of her kit. Punisher simple enough, less spread on continued weapon fire. An already high pick rate hero too, and so expect to see much more of Punisher, especially alongside Raccoon in the next season. Scarlet Witch will be a bit better against lower health heroes, with a simple damage increase on her primary fire from 50 health per second to 60 health per second. The additional damage increase on higher health heroes has been reduced from 5% to 3% to compensate. I don't know if these changes will be enough to bring Scarlet into much use, and I will say that Wolverine will definitely still be the default tank buster. Also her projectile damage is getting a small increase too. Storm, like Black Widow, is another hero I've never tried, so can't really give you the best information here. Maybe if you do have a Storm main in the comments, just let people know what you think about this. But what I do know is she was in need of a few buffs and it looks like they've arrived. A 50% increase on projectile speed, and the damage increase for her primary fire does seem pretty huge. The ult will also provide more bonus health and lingering effects afterwards. From the limited Storm gameplay I've seen, it does seem like the ult might be one of the best parts of her kit. So this could be a very scary thing to come up against in the future. Talking of ults, Squirrel Girl has certainly one of them. What you do is you press Q, some squirrels have a nice little walk around the map, and then that's pretty much it. Anyway, these squirrels will now be more proactive, actually targeting enemies after a bounce, rather than just heading off in a random direction, never to be seen again. But these squirrels are a bit less healthy now, at 300 max health rather than 600. Winter Soldier will get increased survivability both at base health from 250 to 275, and bonus health provided from abilities from 30 to 40. But we'll also start getting steeper damage fall-offs. So the last duelist getting a change here, Wolverine, that one which is an absolute menace, especially if you're a tank player. But unfortunately tank mains, Wolverine will in fact continue just to be a menace. Instead of 300 base health now, it has 350. But the DR provided by Undying Animal is reduced from 50% to 40%. You can see between these, Wolverine actually almost has more health than some tanks. But I can still see this hero actually filling out quite an important niche still, as well as causing a lot of anger. Finally then, Strategists. Cloak and Dagger, this one actually seems pretty huge too. An extra dash in her ult from 3 to 4, covering more area in the basically immortality goop. And this will increase the super's cast time too, in which Cloak and Dagger can hardly be damaged. Also, the Dagger Storm ability cooldown is coming down from 15 seconds to 12. Cloak and Dagger is another quite popular pick, and probably one which is going to remain that way, unless everyone starts playing Invisible Woman for certain reasons. So, when you're playing Strange, you hear the Jeff ult approach, so you fly into the skybox, and you just kind of get eaten anyway. This will hopefully no longer happen. A maximum height of 10 meters is now 5 meters, but a more consistent 5 meters across the ult's area. Also, the healing is being improved from 140 a second to 150. Luna Snow got off quite lightly here actually, considering her pick and ban rate. The only change is you can now only swap between healing and damage boosting ult every 0.5 seconds instead of 0.1. Which means less disco lights, but also you will need to be more purposeful in switching styles. Although I do feel like the healing effect is camped a lot of the time regardless. Mantis, which is another really fantastic strategist, is getting a reduction in movement speed bonus from her passive, from 2.5 meters per second to 1.5 meters per second. No doubt she is still going to feel great because of her incredibly well-rounded kit, but I do feel this one's going to feel extremely noticeable and probably quite sluggish at first. I think this is one people will have to take a bit of time to adjust to. Finally, Rocket Raccoon. Simply even more healing. I've actually seen some pretty crazy healing numbers come from this hero, and now it should be even more so. It goes from 60 health per second increase to 70. Oh yeah, there's also some team up changes. I do feel like this video is already quite insanely long, so I'll try and get these done rapid. For Hawkeye, as I've already mentioned, the seasonal damage bonus is going from 20% to 15%. This, alongside their reduced base max damage, puts their shots at 264.5. So 275 health heroes, you are free from the curse of Hawkeye. Hela is the same story. 15% bonus seasonal damage instead of 20%. Just on these seasonal bonuses, I don't really know why these effects are in comp. I think it might be better just to keep these to quick play, but who knows. Namor's frozen squids will be more effective. Increased damage, stronger slow effect, and more effective when angry. Grr. Raccoon's infinite ammo box will get a lower cooldown, 45 to 40 seconds. And remember that Punisher is getting a buff too, in which I think this pairing will be very, very strong. Magneto's metallic fusion mode will be getting a damage buff to both its impact and detonation damage. Finally, Storm even more buffs. While teamed up this time to the ability Charge Gale. Lower cooldown, higher damage. And that's the lot. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching and consider a subscription. There will be much more Marvel Rivals content to come.